Mr. Klein, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tom, this is Angie McClanahan and Angie Tom. Tom, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Certainly. And first of all, on behalf of the VSBA, our executive director, thank you for allowing us to do the search. This is truly the most important, one of the most important functions a board has is hiring a superintendent. We always say not only hiring a qualified superintendent, but one that's a good fit for the school division, for the schools and community. So thank you all for entrusting us with the process. Got a lot of artifacts here, so we'll kind of go back and forth, but I want to talk a little bit about the significance of today. Today is the day that we announced that a search has begun. We don't quite take applications until we set qualifications for the position. But what we do is let the public know that the position is going to come open and that we're soliciting information or soliciting feedback from the community on what they would like to see in a superintendent. The board will set the qualifications. Okay, and you all will do that upon receiving input from the community, from the survey, and from the public hearing that you will have to solicit that information. But for the most part, we have the survey already to go. It's a linked survey, and I want you to look at the news release. This is something that you all will put out within the next couple of days. And the link is now live, meaning that if you go to that link, you will go to the Buchanan County Public Schools Superintendent Search Survey.
Where
And
is
this-
that at?
Yes, it's a news release.
Okay.
Got a sample.
Yeah, and there's a link. Now with the survey, I will tell you, we do all the disaggregation of the data, meaning that once the survey deadline has taken place, we pull the data, pull it by group in its entirety, and then we break it down by individual, meaning parent, whether they're a parent, whether they're a school teacher, school administrator, school employee. And this survey that we have, which is right here, and I'll share that with you, is designed to help you get results that will assist you in setting qualifications for the position. Talk about how important that is to set qualifications, because when you set qualifications, it's important to get community input, community feedback, and it's also important to set the standard by which you want to attract applicants. You know, what things would you like to have preferred? What things would you would like to have required? For example, some school systems have doctorate preferred. Some school systems will have doctorate required. So that's completely up to the board how you all want to set your qualifications. But you will set your qualifications at a later date. In the meantime, one of the first things that we do, and we'll allow Ms. Dillon to assist us, is get this press release out with the survey link into the hands of the community. She will also have hard copies that people can complete and fill out. So they wouldn't necessarily have to use the link. If they want to fill out a hand copy, they can fill out a hand copy, and then she would scan those to us and we would put those in. But I can tell you, average search, we probably get no more than 1 or 2 hard copies because people will go to the link and fill it out. It's not been an issue or a problem. One of the other things that we will do is during the course of the time in which the survey is out there, we have access to the survey in our office, so we can tell you or provide you all with feedback about how many respondents we've had. So if you feel like you need to send out another notice or an email, and we tell school boards that it's good to get that out to the community through your website, through email, through sometimes, some school systems will use social media in order to get the link out and solicit feedback on what qualities people would like to see in a superintendent. So if you want to take a look at the survey now, if there's any changes that you would like to make, one of the things that I talked to Ms. Dillon about prior is that she has electronic copies of all of these documents. So if there's anything that you all would like changed, amended, or adjusted before it goes out, please don't hesitate to let us know. We can amend those easily. It's not an issue to amend the survey if you like. So, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay. Is, if the survey's okay with the board, we have the link. If it's not, just please let Ms. Dillo know. And
We do need to let her know that, like, I know as soon as possible, but is there kind of a time frame that you want us to?
you all, it depends on when you would like the survey to go out. We have, on the timeline, we have that this deadline for surveys would be March 13th. Now, I can tell you historically, as soon as you release the surveys, most of your returns are going to happen in those first few days. And then it kind of dwindles down. Some school systems will send out another email reminder and get more solicitations, more respondents and such. But for the most part, I can tell you that those first couple of days is when you get the bulk of your respondents. So as soon as we send as soon as she sends the survey out, it can be tomorrow if you all are ready to go. The survey's ready, we're ready. If you all are ready, the survey can go out as early as tomorrow.
Like we could make our county one call, couldn't we? That way you could hit all parents, teachers and everything.
Or send out the email link. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is your timeline, so if you have any questions or if there's anything you want to change in that timeline, please let me know. We have a deadline for surveys on March 13th.
So, I'm a parent and a social worker. I'm not from the school system, so when I ask this question, don't laugh at me. But
No.
You got on here for education and training, doctorate, experience as superintendent, et cetera, et cetera. I thought that there was some kind of certification or something that they have to hold.
They have to have a Virginia license. And once,
Virginia license, just teaching license, or?
it's a superintendent's
Okay,
license.
that was my question.
And there's 4 methods by which they can achieve that license. One of which, I think number 4 is the board petition, the State Board of Education, in order for them to secure that license. What we will do as the applications come in is we make sure there's a little box on the application that they check whether or not they have a license. And we will look at that. And if they check no on that box, we will notify them immediately, because what ends up taking place and what ends up happening, and this has happened before, is if you've got an applicant who hasn't applied for a license, the state board has to approve that during a regularly scheduled meeting. So a quarterly meeting. So if they've applied for that license, you can interview them, but you cannot hire them unless they have that license. And we check all that for them. We check with the Department of Education to make sure, that's one of the things we'll tell you during the second meeting. Are they licensed in Virginia? So that's something that's legal and required, so we don't include that in the survey.
Because it's not an option. Okay,
Yeah,
I
because
just wanted to.
they have to.
Just, are they kind of like, like out of state where, you got a reciprocal teacher's license? How does it work with the superintendent?
It doesn't, it works from the standpoint of, they would meet the criteria for the most part, but they still have to apply. And it still has to be approved by the State Board of Education. We've had out-of-state applicants that we've contacted, and we've said, you don't have a license, you need a license in order to be officially hired in Virginia. And they'll email me back and they'll say, well, we have reciprocity. And it's kind of like, no, it doesn't work that way with Department of Ed and superintendent's license. So we stay pretty well on top of that for you all.
Okay.
Because the last thing we want to happen is you all get ready to hire a candidate, and then all of a sudden you find out you can't hire them because they haven't been approved yet. So we make sure that's taken care of for you all.
And the applications are going straight to you. They're not coming here. Is that correct?
They come through, we have a system called AppleTrack, and you all are given independent. Frontline is the company that we use for AppleTrack. They send you email so you can set up your account through AppleTrack, which gives you access to all of the applications. But they come to us through that system,
That's fine.
and we manage that process. But you all have access to anyone who applies for the position.
Okay,
You'll get an email notification as soon as they apply. You'll be able to go in and review their application. They'll have an online application, and then they'll be able to upload artifacts such as resume, letter of recommendations, those kinds of things.
okay.
Yeah, but we set all that up for you, and that usually takes place after the qualifications have been set. We send the formal announcement out for applicants.
Okay.
But wanted to just, you know, if you glance at this survey and you see anything that you want adjusted or amended or changed, you know, please just let Ms. Dillo know. Or you can email me and let me know, and we can get it changed. I can change it from Charlottesville. The survey is designed to help you understand what qualifications your constituents and stakeholders are looking for. So the other thing that we do initially is we send out to we have a listserv of aspiring superintendents and current superintendents that we send information to. We send it out in the form of an email blast. So one of the things that we do when a position is announced is we'll send out an email to all, and we'll put this on Education Week. We also put it on our website, but we'll send this out in the form of an email of coming soon so that people know that once you all set the qualifications, you all will begin taking applications. So it's one of those things where, you know, we send this out ahead of time to let them know that Buchanan County is going to have a superintendency open. And then, you know, they kind of look for it because they see the application window on here, and when the application window will open. And so they kind of look for it at that point. So we try to get the information out, even though we don't have the qualifications set so that we can take applications. We will get the information out that, hey, there's a job coming open and this is when to look for it. So we make sure that information gets out to everyone. And we do have a pretty lengthy number of aspiring superintendents that we send it out to, but we also send it out to every superintendent in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They're on that listserv as well. So does anyone have any questions about surveys? Now, a lot of boards will choose to do a public hearing. In other words, they'll do an announced public hearing to solicit or to get feedback from stakeholders regarding the selection of the next superintendent. That is something that we suggest, you know, to provide as much opportunity for the public to weigh in as you possibly can. We usually recommend one public hearing. Sometimes we recommend two, but usually one public hearing before you set your qualifications. And you can do that on the same night. For example, you're going to have the survey results, and you're going to be able to review the survey results. You're going to be able to hear from the public, and then at that point, you will set your qualifications. Now, I want to stop here because I want to make sure that these dates are okay. This is your timeline, so we work with you all however you all want to adjust it. We're not involved with the public hearing. That's a board function. You all set the qualifications. We try to assist you as much as we can with that process. With setting those qualifications, we provide you with samples, and there's certainly samples in your manual that we're going to talk about in just a few moments. But you all, this is your timeline, so that's your meeting. What we try to do is create a timeline so that you can get the process done in an expedited but thorough and efficient fashion. So we make sure that the timeline works for you all as a board.
We
So-
deciding these dates right now, because like, we have 2 board members out, and I don't have my calendar. I can go get them, but
And I will tell you, because the date is the 17th when we'll start receiving applications. So you will want to get you would want to finalize or come to some kind of decision on the deadline for the surveys, the public hearing and meeting to establish qualifications, and then providing us those qualifications. Now, I can tell you, our turnaround is quick with those. Meaning, once you provide us with the qualifications, we'll put them in the job announcement, we'll set up things on AppleTrack, and then we'll start, at that point, open the application window and start taking applications. So our turnaround is fairly quick, but we want to give you all enough time so that you all can do due diligence in coming up with qualifications. And I know that, I don't know what your schedules are like on the 14th, 15th, but the reason we selected those days was so that we could start receiving applications on March 17th. And we usually leave the application window open a month.
What is our meeting on the 7th? Is that just
That's
the
a
first
vote.
reading of the budget, or do we have to have a second reading on the budget too, or just that one?
I think we have to have a second reading, don't we?
So,
Some of it's public hearing.
If you all want to do your public hearing,
what we gonna do
then
both?
At a normal
That's
meeting.
what I was looking to see if we could combine them with the,
you would have to shorten your window of the surveys.
well, I mean, the 7th is our
It's our
regular
first,
meeting.
it's a regular meeting and first budget reading, so we have to have a second one, so we're trying to combine that.
Oh, okay, that's what
See
I'm
what-
So, we can do it either the 14th or 15th then.
We don't know what mine will
Yeah, as soon as what we do, as soon as we get those qualifications from you all, we'll send back the job announcement one more time for you all to review, just to make sure that's what you want going out. And, one of the things that, this will be your guide throughout the process. And we'll be there to assist you along the way. Anytime you have a question, I will say this, don't hesitate to email me, or you can use our 1-800 number and call us. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Myself, Gina, and Sam, Samantha will be working on this search together. Samantha and I will be down for the second meeting, which is a closed session meeting, because that's when we go over the applicants and we talk about the applicants. And we do a background check on the applicants. We rely on you all. A lot of times, if you have an internal applicant, we rely on you all to do because we would ask you all if for the background on that person. So normally, if they're internal applicant, we don't do background checks. We allow you all to do that. And that doesn't take the place of a background check that you all normally do as a school system for all employees. But we check references, more or less, make calls.
There he is.
How we doing? Sorry I'm late, guys.
Keith Harrison, this is Tom Brewster. Tom.
Hey,
Keith
hey, nice to meet
Harrison.
you.
Nice to meet you. Yes. And these are your books. Feel free to write in them. There's notes pages like when you interview. But the thing is, just remember that we will collect these at the end of the process. We shred them. We keep them on record, on file for a little while, then we shred them. But we do take them back up. But they're your books, so feel free to put your name on them, whatever you want to do.
You got mics that you can still.
I'll do it. I can do 13th, 14th, 16th, 17th. Can't do 15th. How long do we have? Is there so many days before we have our second reading? Maybe like 10 days or something.
For the budget, we're gonna get our budget on the 7th. How many days? We have to have a second.
We had one last night, right?
Well, we just went over,
Just went
did a
over.
workshop.
Let me see if I can.
We'll have to have a first reading and then do another 8 and 10 days later.
Is it 10 days?
It's 10
That's
days.
what I thought.
And that's being published in both papers too.
So we're going to end up having to have this meeting in between to
Yeah.
stay on his timeline.
That's how long it is.
That's that German.
No, you're fine. I'm there. We're good. What day do you look?
So we have a regular meeting on the 7th. That's going to be our public hearing for the budget, first reading at 5:30. School board regular meeting at 5:40, 5:45 on the 7th. So he's saying that we need to do something 14th, 15th, 16th, because they want to announce or start receiving applications on the 17th.
We can adjust those dates, however, would best fit your all schedule. Usually we allow the surveys to be out for 2 weeks so that we can solicit and make sure that everyone's had a chance to participate.
No, that survey, that just the board.
No, it's-
We survey
Oh, okay.
the community, the public. So it would be, it's a stakeholder survey. Everyone looking for what they think, the community thinks and the stakeholders think should be the qualities that the board looks for in the superintendent when they do the hiring.
Okay.
So we can adjust that deadline on the surveys.
Well, if we push it, the 17th on Friday, we ain't gonna get nobody to come to our public hearing on Friday. So if we even said the 17th, that'd give us our 10 days for our.
Does weekends or does after? Does weekends count?
I would think this,
That's to be during the day, during the week.
So 10 working days.
10 working
days.
days, yes.
Wow, I know that. Remember that.
The
It's in
21st,
my head.
if you do it on the 7th.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
unless we wanna come in on that next week of March, it just doesn't matter.
You're saying we make the 7th, 14th, and 21st?
Is the 21st what we agreed on the other night?
I don't think we set that date. I think we just left it on the 7th. I don't have it right now.
Heath, what's your appointments on there on
Mine's on Mondays.
Mondays?
Yes.
I'm out on Wednesdays. Can't do Wednesdays.
So you're 14th or 16th?
I'm good. I'm sitting thinking the
Dave?
6th and the 27th. That's the only day that I can't, I don't know.
David,
13th, 14th, or 15th, and you can't do the 15th,
correct.
I can do the 14th.
Robbie, you do the 14th?
6th and 27th.
I won't ask Mike.
That's the next week over.
And we can do both, the public hearing and statute.
Yes, you can do both. And remember, that's done in open session. Of course, the public hearing is open session, but you set the qualifications in open session as well. But we'll also provide you with, some samples. So you all, as you discuss that, you'll not only have your survey information, your public hearing information, but you'll also have, some samples of what the format would look like for those qualifications. And what you're doing is you're giving public input as you move forward with the process of interviewing. You're giving the public input and feedback into what you're looking for in the superintendent of schools.
And then we're gonna come back on the 21st for budget, second for approval.
That's the
21st,
earliest we
28th.
can on the 21st, isn't it? So I'll call in on next Tuesday.
And once you all set the qualifications, we'll put those into the announcement, and then we're ready to go. At that point, I'll send you an email describing the AppleTrack process with a tutorial attached to it. And then we send Frontline your school board emails, because you don't want to do any of this on your personal emails. We send it to your school board email, and basically you set up an account through your school board email that allows you to look at the applications. So once that process hits, and once we start taking applications, normally you'll see a few applications in the very beginning. I will tell you, most of them wait till the last week to apply, last couple of weeks to apply, but they'll start. So if someone starts an application, we call it an inquiry. So if someone starts an application, a lot of times they'll get in and they'll start it, but they don't finish it all in one sentence. What we'll let you all know is that you'll be able to see the ones that push send and apply. We'll be able to tell you if someone's inquired about it, and let you know, hey, even though you only have 3 applicants, you have 7 other people, 7 other inquiries who have started the application process. But you can't see those until they actually officially apply.
Mike says 3:14 would be okay with him.
I'm still out. You can, as soon as you get the qualifications, you decide on that, you can send them up to me, and then we'll work on the announcement. I'll get it back to you, because I do want you all to review the announcement one more time before it goes out. And that doesn't have to be done in a public meeting. It's just to make sure that we have represented you all correctly. Then the fun part, March 17th through April 14th, is receiving applications. And we stress on the applications for applicants not to contact board members. They have questions about the application process, they're to contact us. And then that helps you, keeps you all not only from excessively entangling yourself in the process, but also keeps you from being hammered. If someone can't upload something, can't figure out how to upload something, they're going to contact us and not call you all. So that's one of the perks is you all don't have to deal with the management of the process. We take care of that for you, and we handle that. What you all will receive is, once you've set up your accounts with AppleTrack, every time someone applies or every time someone changes their application, you'll get an email notification back to your school board email. So is everyone okay with that window, setting up that window for receiving applications? That means that we have the second meeting, and this is the one where I can tell you about the second meeting with the VSBA. It is a closed session meeting, because one of the things that we stress during this process is confidentiality. Not only confidentiality on our part, but confidentiality on the part of the board. And that's because a lot of applicants who apply for the position do so confidentially. Because in Virginia, we have what we can term as a closed search. So therefore, during this process, not only do we ask for confidentiality, we stress confidentiality, as you don't want to scare away any applicants, by word getting out or leaking that they've applied. And would cause them to rethink or second guess that application process. But one point, from March 17th until April 14th is the process by which, applications are received. During the second meeting, as I said before, it's a closed session meeting. It's where we conduct background checks on each of the applicants who apply for your position, and we share that information with you candidly in closed session. We'll tell you what we know. We will, call references, call people that they've worked with in the past, and then we'll compile information about each applicant so that we can share with you. However, I will tell you that if it's an internal applicant, a lot of times we don't call references on those, and I'll tell you why. It's because we would call you all. If we were checking up on someone that works for you all would know that better than anyone. So what we do is we do background checks on external candidates. And like I said earlier, this doesn't replace the background check that's legally required before they take the job. But this is just where we check the references for you and provide you with the feedback. And we do this during the second meeting, and we had it scheduled for April 20th at 5 p.m. That's the day and time when both Samantha and I can come here. We put down 5 p.m., but we're flexible there. But if you all we would like to go ahead and set that meeting so we can coordinate it with their schedules. If you all are okay with that.
I think that's what we agreed, because
I've got it wrote down on the 20th. I just,
Okay.
you want to change to 5, don't you? 5 o'clock.
5:15,
Well, I mean,
5:30 will be
I mean,
my,
that's the earliest, they're gonna be here.
We're gonna be here, and the thing is,
I
I'm
get off
driving.
at 5 and I come straight here, so
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
We can do that. I'm driving, so Samantha won't complain.
Okay,
Being on the road late, right? So if you all want to do 5:30, so you want to do 5:30?
that'd be good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That daylight savings.
On what? Angie, 5:30 on what?
That's
April
true.
20th.
It's not
They had already
Yeah,
told us
so-
about the 20th.
April 20th. That it's good light.
Yeah,
during that
you
time,
should
so.
have worried about drawing.
Interviews.
So,
Yeah.
their second meeting with
That's a good
VSBA,
point.
and they tell us about the candidates.
Once you have the meeting, that's when you start doing the interviews. And I can tell you that this manual has interview questions and rubrics in the back that you can use in order to conduct the meeting or the interviews. We'll go over that more during the second meeting and talk about that more during the second meeting. But we provide you with sample questions that you could use to kind of ask candidates whenever they come in. We provide rubrics within the manual, and we assist any way we can with helping you not only design questions, but also vet those questions to make sure that they're legal. You all know what questions that you can ask and what you can't ask. But if you ever have any questions about the questions that you are asking candidates, please let us know, and we usually vet that with Elizabeth Ewing. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. So we'll certainly help you with vetting those questions. Also, during the interview process, and something that's very important for the board is to set and we've had some boards do this after the second meeting, after the closed session, where they set the 15-day window. And they decide, okay, this is the window by which we want 15 days by which we're going to, and they are consecutive days, we're going to interview applicants. That means that you can go to, I won't say secure location, but you can go to an off-site location. You don't have to announce the meeting during that 15 days, and you've got confidentiality throughout that process of interviewing. The only legal requirement that you have is to set the 15-day notice, the consecutive day notice. And the thing is, if you interview 4 candidates, your 15 days are up, you just have to come together as a board and set another 15-day window. So you can actually go beyond 15 days to conduct your interviews, but if you go beyond that first 15 days, you have to reconvene as a board and set another 15 days. But
What?
that- I'm sorry.
So you say we have interviews, and then we have a 15-day window to do what?
To conduct those interviews.
To conduct.
Yeah, to
If
schedule
we-
interviews with candidates, right.
Okay, so if we miss that 15 days, what happens?
You would just reconvene as a board and set another 15-day window. But I can tell you, if you look on page 59,
So it has to happen within 15 days or after 15 days?
it has to happen within,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay.
It has to happen within the 15-day window. For example,
I'm with you now. I was
Okay.
thinking our second readings and stuff, we have to have so many days between. And I was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
and if you look on page 59, you'll see the legal statute 2.23712, which will allow you to conduct a closed meeting at a disclosed or undisclosed location. So once you set that initial date, you have 15 days to do your interviews.
So if we don't get them all done in that 15 days, that's when we have to. convene
Yeah.
and look.
I'm
sure.
We always say that, but most of the time, 15 days is enough.
Yeah, I just,
15 days is plenty.
I thought you meant there had to be a 15-day waiting period. I was confused.
And usually boards will allow the chair to set those interviews up with the candidate. And we don't set those interviews up because you all are doing the hiring. Once we get all the applicants in place and we kind of tell you what we found out in checking their references,
You're out.
we're out. You hire, the board is responsible for hiring the superintendent. We help you with the logistics and we keep you legal, or try to keep you legal through the process. So that's our role. So we have interviews with candidates scheduled for May, but technically, if you all want to start the 15-day window right after the meeting on April 20th, you can do so. You can come out of closed session and you can announce the 15-day window. But remember that 15-day window starts on the 20th. And that means you have to conduct your interviews, and that will be like first week of May. So, once you set that date, make sure that that's
So
the time
we could
period.
come out of April 20th and say our 15-day window will be between May 8th and May 22nd. It doesn't have to be the next 15 days.
Absolutely,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
You can set the start date, but whatever start date you have, you
It
have
has to
15
be
days.
15. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
clear.
And some people get confused. They say, okay, it's 15 days from the 20th. No, it's 15 days from the date that you
When you said we set the
Open the
start
window.
date, that makes sense.
open the window. And as I said before, we'll assist you with the questions and such. What we always say, sometimes boards will do 2 interviews. Sometimes they'll do a standard set of questions. And then, they see a couple of candidates they like, and then they'll bring them back in and ask more specific questions.
We have a limit on how many, or just how many to take?
It's up to the board.
Like, I know,
What
I
do you
mean,
usually say?
Smith County, how many do they end up having?
I don't know. But I could tell you that
Washington County,
Washington County, I don't know, but that's, I can find out the typical.
I mean,
Number
the
of
typical
questions.
number of how many you would narrow it down to.
Yeah, and I will tell you, the questions that you ask the candidates will be based upon what you're looking for in your qualifications. So that might be 10 questions.
Right.
That might be 15 questions. But when you set your qualifications, you're going to go back and look at those questions that best match up with what you're looking for and ask those questions.
Washington County, last time it was on the news, they had 14, I believe.
I was just wondering out, so just say,
You
we
say
thought it was like,
candidates or questions?
huh?
You say
Candidates.
candidates.
Yeah, like
These
Canada.
type of questions.
Oh, question, okay.
And we talk about, kind of aligning the questions with, the qualifications, but asking the kind of questions that get you what you're looking for. And kind
They're
of-
asking candidates.
He's asking what's usually a number that most people is brought in for interview.
Oh, for interviews, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
Candidates.
I
I'm just
missed
saying,
that.
how, like, if we end up with like 15 applicants, do we narrow that down?
We try to help you narrow that down.
Okay, I don't want to have to,
Now,
15
remember,
days for 15 applicants.
Well, I understand
Yeah.
that, but, you know, if they say we have 20 people that's very qualified for this, who are we to say, well, these are the 10 we're gonna interview?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I
you kind of do that.
yeah, and I can better, I apologize, I completely missed
You're
that.
fine, you're fine.
I thought we were talking about two different things.
Yeah. Let me say this. If a lot of school systems will interview anywhere from 6 to 8 candidates for the position.
Okay.
Based upon their qualifications. Now, I can tell you, based upon what you require and what you prefer, sometimes the pool will eliminate itself. Some people will apply, but they won't meet all of your required qualifications, and we'll let you know that. But usually, I think 5 is a good number. It depends on your applicant pool, and it depends on the number of candidates that you feel like meet your qualifications.
But we can decide that at the second
You can
meeting.
you
correct?
decide that during the second meeting, absolutely.
Okay.
And we're not involved in that process. You as a board will decide who to interview.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was thinking about something else. But I can tell you that, we'll tell you everything there is to know about the candidate, but you all make that final decision on who to interview. And a lot of that has to do with your qualifications you set. That's why that process is so important. And then we help you, and I'll just talk briefly about this. We'll assist you with the contract. Elizabeth will look at your contracts and, make sure that the board is well represented there. So, that's a process. Elizabeth Ewing is our Director of Legal Services. And so we do provide that contract review for boards once you all start negotiating the contract with the incoming or prospective candidate. We'll help you through that process. Let's see. I will tell you that tomorrow I'm going to send you a summary email, basically summarizing everything that I went over today, because I know it's a lot of information to kind of absorb. So I've got an email that I'll send out with kind of the highlights of what we discussed here this evening, particularly related to, just some of the general things that we went over today. But again, I want to, let me just take a moment here. Does anyone have any questions about the process that we follow?
Are we setting that March 14th as our date, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
5:30?
So-
Public hearing.
I think the only thing on the timeline that actually changed was the April 20th meeting is moved to 5:30, right? Very good, all right.
Yeah. Well, I think you had March 15th for that public hearing as a suggested date. Oh, you didn't. You had 14th, so that's correct. The 15th is to establish our qualifications, you guys said.
That's when they're just sent to us, and then we put them in the announcement.
Okay.
And
So
then,
public hearing on the 14th at 5:30 and April 20th at 5:30 for our second meeting with you.
the applications will go live on March 17th. And there'll be a link that applicants will follow in order to apply for the position. The important role that we have is to get you good applicants, get the word out, secure you good applicants, and help you find good applicants that will be a fit for Buchanan County Public Schools. Which is great. So I'll just close by, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
And thank you, members of the board. Ms. Dillo, thank you all for your help and choosing VSBA for the search. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Ah.
Birthday.